Hello guys, welcome back to JazzedTutorials. We are making something very epic and very interesting. I'm calling this a fantasy photo effect, but you guys can call it whatever you want. It's a very in-depth tutorial, so you guys may be sitting here for a bit, but trust me, it's awesome. You'll love the outcome, guarantee it. So stick with me. Alright, I've made my layers. I'm going to explain how I did them because if I did it step by step, guys, you'd be here all day. And you guys don't want to be here all day. You want to get to the point of the tutorial. So, we've opened an image. Now, I prefer that you use a darker image, one that has not as too much brightness in it, but you can still use a brighter image. You may have to just alter the contrast and edit and stuff later on. That's fine. We'll go there if needed. Alright, so now I have a few other layers above this, but we're going to go straight to the first layer we need to work with first. Makes it easier. So disregard these first 3 layers, and we'll get to those momentarily. Alright, so we need to make a selection of just the subject of our photo. You can do that multiple ways. You can use the pen tool, quick selection tool, lasso tool, magic wand tool, it goes on. However you want to make your selection and make it now. Alright, I can't do that because I don't have a selection. Yes, I know. So there's my selection there. Once you've made your selection, you're going to go to Layer, and you want to hit New Layer via Copy. That's going to then give you the copied marquee layer. You'll then have just the selection in its own layer. Alright, got that? We good? Alright. So now we can move on and work with the other layers that we have. So, below that layer that you've just created, you're going to now create a color fill layer with the color black. It'll look just like that, plain and simple, nothing to it. You're going to then do the exact same thing and add another color fill layer. In case you're wondering where color fill is, it's located under the layers tab. It just says right here, new fill layer, solid color. Or you can just make a new layer, color black, doesn't matter either way, same thing. On the second colored black layer, we're going to add a gradient overlay, so double click the second layer that you just made of that same effect, just black fill. The only difference in the color overlay settings is we're changing the gradient. The gradient needs to be white to black background, or black to white, and you can hit reverse, it'll go the same thing. 90% for your scale, click OK. And that should be what you see there. Also, note you need to drop the opacity down to 25%. So next, we're going to add a gradient fill layer. This is under the adjustments layer right here, right at the top. And this is a black to white, same thing. And what we're going to do is on the mask layer, you'll see over here towards the left, we need to now make that mask layer completely black. And to do that, all you do is you just can do a Control backspace or Alt backspace and fill that entire gradient mask with the color black. Once you have done so, we then need to make that black color only go to half the photo. So let me show you what I mean by that. Go to T. Alright, so with the mask layer selected, do the Control T. And now you're going to have that blackness, so it's only like half the page, like right down to there. See what I'm saying? Alright, so once you have that, click OK to where you want yours. Mine's already made, and mine's already there where I want it. Alright, so once you've done that, then we're going to go to Filter on the same mask layer. Don't leave the mask layer just yet. Leave it on the mask layer. Go to Filter. Go to Blur. Hit Gaussian Blur. And you want 360 selected for your radius. Currently, my radius is at 160, but that's for another layer we're doing later on in this tutorial. So for now, just go with 360. And then you'll click OK, and you'll have the settings. And yours image should look just like mine. Slightly darker, slightly gray. Alright. Next, This is our main layer. Alright, so my main layer's there now. I didn't have it showing beforehand, but it's there. Oh, and before I forget, guys, oh my god, how did I forget this step? I forgot. So I changed my lovely layers, blend mode to screen, and the opacity is 85%. Alright, now on the main layer that we've made, our main background, we just did the whole select blah 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 stuff with that layer. Double click and add a gradient overlay. It's going to be a black transparent background. I may have already showed you guys this. I'm not really remembering shortly, but whatever, it's there. Alright, we're good? We're good. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going up here. Now, I'm not really sure why, but I can't modify this anymore. But you guys should be able to hit modify. It's under select, hit modify. Mine's grayed out, but that's because I've already modified it and it won't do anything. Modify contract, and the contract should say 30. So do 30 pixels. And then with that still there for you, if you have I think you have a selection or a marquee tool, you're going to go up here to layer, and under yours it should say layer mask. It should say reveal selection. So reveal that lovely selection you have made there. It's going to look a bit funky, I know, guys, but trust me, we're going to fix that. I believe you. Alright, now go to filter and go to Gaussian blur. And this is where the 160 comes in. So go to filter, and under Gaussian blur, just do 160. And that will then make that awesome sauce in your mask section. Now what we have to do is we need to go and make another copy of the same layer. So go ahead and duplicate your main layer, or the one your subject layer. And we're going to delete the mask layer on that layer. And we're going to get rid of the effect, the gradient overlay. So right click and just hit clear layer style. And then we're going to add our own style to this. And we're going to add a mask layer. And on this lovely mask layer, we are going to add some paprika. So grab a brush tool. Any size is fine, depends on how big your canvas is. Make sure white is in your foreground. And on that mask layer, just brush out the colors. So you get something like that, so that it blends in quite nicely. Awesome sauce. Then next, we are going to add a gradient map with a clipping mask. And the reason why I've done the gradient with the clipping mask is because I only want the gradient map to hit the lady's face and not the entire photo. So gradient map is found here under the adjustments tool, right here, gradient map. And then we have it selected with a black and white, obviously, right there. I've set my layer to overlay and my opacity to 30%. You guys can adjust the opacity to whatever you want to choose. You could go as far as 11% if you want. Up to you how big or bright you want it. Just adds a bit of contrast, in my humble opinion. Alright, next we are going to be adding some particles. Now, you can use a brush for this if you want to, but I just feel like making my own, and that looks the best in my opinion for this particular tutorial. So I've made a group layer of these particles, by the way. I will show you these lovely group. So what I have here, and how did I get to these particles, you're asking? Well, I'm going to show you. So we're going to make a new layer, and this layer must be black, fully black in that. Then we're going to go to filter, and I believe it's under, where is it? I think it's pixelate. Mes Point. Yeah. And you want to choose coarse dots. So you'll get that, you'll get that. I am wrong. We are going to go to color range. So it's under select, my bad. Select. And we're going to have the fuzziness at 200. And you want to select, with the eyedropper tool, the white color in your selection. So you have that. If you're not careful enough, it's going to be like, oh, you have no pixels selected. Well, yeah, I kind of do. So try and select white. Make sure 200 is your fuzziness. Click OK. It's going to make a lovely marquee of sort, and that's fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to select. We're going to refine the edges of that lovely selection. I'm going to leave that for 1 on the feather, 25 for the contrast, and -5% for the shift edge. Now I don't know as to whether you guys are going to have shift edge in your Photoshop version. I think it's in all Photoshop versions, but I distinctly remember in CS5 there were a few of these refined edge settings that were not available, so I really don't know what's available in each one or how your shift or how your refined edge will look. So click OK. Oops. I just realized I forgot to tell you guys. So go back. Let's go back. I forgot to do the 10 on the top. So refine edge, 10 for your smooth. Terribly sorry about this. 1 for your feather. 25 for your contrast. And -5 for your shift edge. Alright, it looks better to me. Then what you can do is now on that layer, you can go mask it. And once you mask out the layer, it's going to then give you all of your particles like so. Then you can go ahead and apply the layer mask to the entire layer because that's what you want, and those are the particles. And yay! So now we're going to set that layer to overlay. And now you guys can add as many, you can duplicate this layer as many times as you would like, depending on how many particles you want showing in your photo. I just did it twice, but you guys can certainly do as many as you'd like. And then after I've made my particles the way I like them, I group them. So just control click on each layer and then drag it and drop to this group layer right here, and it will then add them into a group for you. It'll group those all together nicely for you. Now it's going to get a little tricky because now we're going to work with the actual the group itself. So with the group layer still selected, the actual group itself, you're going to then click on your main layer and you're going to make that lovely selection yet again active. So activate that right there. And then on your group layer, you're going to go to layer, layer mask, and you're going to reveal the selection. Mine is grayed out, by the way, because I've already revealed this selection, so there's no need for me to do it twice. But you guys will not have done that, so go ahead and do that. Then we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to use the word properties under window. So window and select properties. I've never really used this before, but it really is nice kind of using it. Properties. Set your feather to 160. And then select your opacity on that group layer to 54%. And you'll be left with what you see there. Alright, next we're going to be adding just a bunch of random adjustment layers to create the color tones we want for our photo. So first we're going to start with the color balance adjustment layer. All your adjustment layers can be found below here with the circle in case you're curious, but I've already mentioned that I believe before. And we're just going to mess with the midtones, nothing else, just that. So for this we're going to add a +44, +15 for the magentas, and a -15 for the yellows, and you'll get that color right there. Looks kind of sepia-like, sort of. Right, next adjustment layer is going to be a hue and saturation. The only thing we're adjusting is the saturation, and that's a +10. Alright, after that we're going to add another gradient map, and this one is the same thing, black to white. This one has an overlay with a 31% opacity, or you could be cool and do 30. That works too. 30 is good. I don't like having 31, it's a weird number. So we're going to go with 30. After that, we're going to add a levels adjustment layer, and we're going to adjust the only one here. The end, this is 248. Instead of 255, just put 248. And then that gives it more brightness. And that is essentially it. You guys can play with the colors if you would like. And the way to do that is to adjust the color balance layer. So if you don't like the brown color we have, go ahead and play with the colors. and get something that you like, something that you don't like, I don't know, but just play with the midtones to get something you really want. But don't go too crazy. Don't go with anything in the highlights or shadows. Just play with the midtones, and you'll eventually come to something you appreciate and like. And it might look pretty awesome. Something like a blue, something like a purple, something more red, really darkish. That's really cool. So if you guys have any other cool video suggestions you want to see on this channel, definitely comment below. If you guys have any questions on this tutorial because it was super long and super confusing, also comment below. I'm also found on all social media. All links are in the description box below. Again, further questions in the comments are welcomed. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around if you watched the entire video. If you didn't watch the entire video, you missed out on a lot of cool stuff. And you probably didn't just hear me say that, so okay. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!